Hello, students. Today, we'll be taking a look at the accommodation scene for the modern youngster about town. But first, a word of warning. It's not all beer and skittles. To begin with, your fellow students are all doing the same thing. And, just like you, everyone wants that agreeable detached house with fish pond attached. If possible, for no more than 3 shillings and 6pence a week. So be patient and stick at it. Rome wasn't built in a day, so let's hope the house you choose wasn't either. Before you begin your quest, ask yourself, am I the sort of cove who likes to live alone? Or would I prefer to muck in with a gang of like-minded chums? Or perhaps with a family? The choice is yours. But whatever you do, always remember to wear a freshly laundered cravat and a winning smile. Right. Action stations. But where do we begin our search? First stop is the accommodation office, where you can pop in and pick up a regularly updated list of available flats and houses. These chaps can also advise you of reliable accommodation agencies in the area. Classified advertisements in the local newspaper, shop windows, estate agents, and even supermarket notice boards are also worth investigating. If you decide to share, make sure you won't be overcrowded. It's all very well trying to save money by including an extra person, but friendships can become strained when you're living too close together for comfort. Consider the location of your prospective home. If you have a bicycle, scooter or motor car, and parking is adequate, you are already at an advantage. But if you rely on public transport, do any bus services run between home and college? Do they run during the evening? Will you be able to stay late at the college bar or library and still get home? And remember, a low rent can often be cancelled out by high travelling costs. Is the flat or house in a well-lit area? Would you feel safe walking down the street at night? And don't forget, in the middle of winter it's getting pretty murky by 3:30 p.m. Are you sure you can afford this house? You will have to pay for gas and electricity as well as the rent. And you may have to pay rent during the holidays when you are not even in residence. And what about our old friend the landlord? He will often ask you to sign a tenancy agreement, which in theory will protect both himself and you. But never sign anything which looks fishy, and obtain advice on anything which is unclear. The accommodation office can advise you, and so can the Students' Union or local Citizens' Advice Bureau. When you first move in, ensure that the landlord gives you an inventory, listing furniture, fittings, and equipment on the premises. It should describe their condition and any damage. You don't want to be accused of breaking something which was already broken, or charged for the replacement of something which was never supplied in the first place. So, if the landlord has promised you something, never sign for it until it's arrived. All right, you've moved in together, and it's ripping fun for a few days. Then, suddenly, you're at each other's throats. But if you'd only got a couple of things straight right from the start, you'd still be speaking to one another. Number 1. bills. Don't be the mug who ends up paying them all. Start a kitty and make sure everyone pays in a $5 a week. Number 2, lovers. Now, I'm a broad-minded sort of chap. Can't see anything wrong with having a special chum of the opposite gender to stay, so long as it's not forever. In other words, don't let your lover become a rent-free house guest. Number 3, chores. Decide what regular tasks need to be done and draw up a rota so it's not always the same person who ends up scrubbing the WC. Number 4, neighbors. Always make sure no one wants to watch something else on the other channel. Oh, and do keep the noise down. You may be asked to enter an agreement with the landlord for a specified period of time. A college term, a full year, or perhaps 6 months. If you wish to leave before the end of your agreement, you will be required to pay for the full period, unless you can find replacement occupiers. The landlord will usually ask for a deposit and a month's rent in advance. Always obtain a receipt stating the amount you have paid. When the time comes to move out, your deposit should be returned to you, providing you have paid your rent and fuel bills, and have not damaged the property in any way.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our little chat. Next time, I'll be explaining how to cheat in your examinations with the aid of a mirror and a walking stick. Cheerio!